Welcome to 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the Upland Planning Board meeting to order. We have distributed the previous meeting's minutes and comments, questions.
We'll wait through the minutes, but presented.
There's a couple typos, but what happened? I don't know, AI didn't do a good job. So, but it doesn't matter. Page 2, it says suggest when legal comments are revived, and I think it means received. Could mean, but I don't think that's,
Yeah, it's one with the other one.
I'm channeling Paul. He used to do this to me all the time.
Any other,
And you did it to me all the time.
I know I did, because I was a jerk.
is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
Well,
So moved.
Second.
Second,
government has 2D.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
He continues to spell it wrong.
Treasury report, anything update from your end on the treasury? Budget?
I think there were a couple of vouchers, but, for projects and
Assigned
peer
here.
review, yeah. Big.
All right, now you did receive your treasury report. Anything you'd like to go over, any highlights on that?
The planners report, I sent that out today. The only thing that I neglected to include was the Mass DOT rescheduled their 75% design hearing to February 4th at 6 o'clock at the community center.
Going on, what else is going on with the state? Any other? House 140, have they?
As far as the sewer and water, it's 60-ish% complete, per the, engineering consultant.
yes, too.
So we should have that all, the entire project being the sewer and water complete by, I was told, this summer.
Well,
It's keeping mine.
aggressive. Anything from the board before we move on to the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, we have a public hearing at 7:10. If a few minutes, anything from into this hearing, lots of questions before we start? Why we're here, what are we doing?
Oh, Mr. Chairman, in my planners report as well, I made note that I had a conversation with the zoning board chair. And he requested a couple updates be made to the zoning bylaw. One in particular being the new ADU law. He wanted it to be more explicitly clear that any accessory apartment, in-law apartment, accessory dwelling unit, whatever you want to call it, that was in existence prior to the adoption of this new bylaw
Grandfather in.
shall be grandfathered in regardless of the size of it. So like there are instances, they had a recent incident, a case where somebody applied to the zoning board because their pre-existing ADU surpassed the 900 square foot maximum. So, legal opinions and stuff got in the way of that just kind of passing, so it required them to go to the zoning board to get that approved. Zoning board looked at it and was, of the opinion of, if this existed, why are we, kind of, what are we doing here now? But, so that was,
That's an interesting one because if it comes to us, for any planning board process, it has to meet current zoning.
Mhm.
But an ADU is an allowed by right and you'd be a zoning board of appeals problem with the size or anything, location setback. So that would actually be grandfathered in from filing at the, courts and 81P and that process, it wouldn't need to go through that. So it wouldn't need to be up to date with us.
yeah, it gets sticky with the way that the language is written. So he just wanted to make it extra clear.
Okay.
The other thing he recommended was, and it's a small change really, because I think the intent of it is what the zoning board chair was asking for, which is pre-existing non-conforming uses and structures, which is section 3.3 of your bylaws. That states that anything constructed or in use prior to the adoption of your zoning bylaws is grandfathered in, right? It's a pre-existing non-conforming use.
For him, not for us, if they come to us to sign it on a brand new. Anything that comes into us today meets today's laws. It's not grandfathered in for us, because it's gonna be recorded by
Yeah,
us.
depending on the applicant.
We don't record a grandfather. A grandfather exists.
Correct.
You come to us, it's gonna be recorded new.
Yeah.
With waivers
Mhm.
from the zoning board. As long as you keep the planning board out of signing off a grandfathered anything.
Yeah, you wouldn't. That's not what this contemplates. But it is in your bylaws, the planning board being the ones who make the recommendations on the
Give it a
bylaws.
shot, see if you like language, write it up, just,
He took issue with, if you have an addition or a deck that's too close to a property line, right? A strict reading of that portion of the bylaw means that if you were to alter it in any way, but not increase the nonconformity, so you're not going closer to the property line, it would still require zoning board approval. And the zoning board is
doesn't
taking.
make sense to do that.
No, it doesn't. And the zoning board has taken the position through reviewing lots of other applications in the past of, if it's not changing anything, then what is our approval worth?
Because the rules are there setbacks. If it's not going any closer, you have height rules. If it's not exceeding any height requirements, front or side set or rear setback, then you don't need to go get a zoning board variance on that.
So those were his two main issues. So if the planning board wants to.
That's something you could do.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you wanted to contemplate it for an upcoming town meeting, we can organize that.
And we are gonna be talking about the master plan later. Transportation one's up first. Plan to them, we have a unique opportunity here. We have a transportation, DPW, Rexburg, small business, we have industry, we have science and education, we have all of these are elements in the master plan. So I think we got a good chance of actually get something done since 2005.
Mr. Chair, there are chairs available at the table if you want to, like, just forward. You don't have to stand anytime.
You may get volunteered for, but that's nothing.
We might ask you for a vote.
What else? What do you got? How are you? How's your health?
Huh?
How's things with you? It's just a normal question.
Mixed, no, it's a bad day. My parents' barn is coming down next week.
What is?
Next week.
Yeah,
What is?
the barn at the corner,
I used to park my bicycle under there. That's where I got the bus.
it's breaking my heart.
Gonna save the boards and stuff and
He doesn't want them. We asked him.
It's too much work to clean them up.
I think you're busy with a pub outside your house. Do you have a variance to that? Special.
big wheels out.
Working on the, some doors and stairway.
And Maggie said there's a whole barn in there. You get to use it?
Well, it's not stocked.
No.
I could use it if I brought my own in.
What's the town manager? We do town manager.
You might have a town manager now. I'm not sure. That meeting was started at 4:00. So the select board was interviewing their top 3 candidates as well as
What color?
fire alarms.
And white smoke, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna 7:09, but I'm gonna open the meeting, East Street Estates at 7:09. Scheduled for 7:10, and the reason doing that is they have asked for an extension until February 10th.
Yeah, continuous to February 10th. I know John Federico from Gary and Hellman is on the meeting. If we have any questions before the board takes action to continue.
Any questions for us, John? Welcome.
No questions for the board. Just as our only update, we are working to get the peer review comments addressed for the retaining wall and the wetland crossing. So we are in the process of getting the additional boring information needed, and we're anticipating that to be completed early February. So that first or second available meeting in February will be looking to continue.
The 24th, if that's If you need more time, this is going on a long time, so I'd like to not have too many meetings, more meetings than this. So if you think you'd be ready on the 24th and we could, finish it up then, I'd recommend that. Otherwise, we could do it at the 10th and take our shots.
We should be able on 24th to have everything fully revised at that point. So I would be fine with that meeting. That would also give us a little bit of time to get stuff over to Stantec for peer review as well.
Is there a motion to, accept
Do we have a time?
7:05?
I move we continue the East Street Estates hearing to February 24th at 7:05.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All right, all those in favor of accepting the offer of extension?
Aye.
Where are we on the time clock?
Yeah, John, I think last we spoke, I asked for an extension to the end of February. So that's for the constructive grant approval. So if we are continuing to February 24th, which was the motion,
That was, I thought.
I would want a constructive grant deadline approval extended to the end of March, because that obviously gives you time to draw up, if it is the board's intention to vote on this matter on the 24th, and I'm not holding you to that. But if it is your intention to do that, you'll need time to draw up a decision and have it recorded with
I don't
the.
want to rush. Let's put the first one in March then.
Well, yeah, continue the hearing until.
Yeah,
February
make his,
24th.
yes,
Yep.
make his thing to the end of March.
Yep.
Be great.
Okay. So John, is that, I'm sure you can provide that to me.
Sure. Do you just need that in some sort of writing?
Yeah, you can send it an email just saying that the constructive grant deadline is extended to the end of, what, March 31st? Is that a month, 31 days, whatever the last day is?
That's fine with us. We can definitely do that for you.
Thank you. So officially, we have suspended our regularly scheduled meeting, opened the scheduled public hearing, and then continued it until February.
Yep, the public hearing is continued to February 24th at 7:05.
Same time, right? So the regular scheduled meeting is reconvened. 0 Mechanic Street, preliminary discussion for senior housing development.
So you have Travis Brown, engineer, representing.
Can you pull up 0 Mechanic Street?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Is it up here, just right here?
Oh, can you share? That'd be great.
See me?
I need a little bit for Main Street.
Across from the plaza. Yeah, you might.
This is the land up behind, up on the hill. that
Yes,
goes up
the one,
now.
yeah.
That's one, it's a nice big field right here.
This is the terrible curve.
Yeah, I know the area.
Yeah.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yep, for the record, Travis Brown with Turning Point Engineering, also here is Chad Boardman of Bugsy. I'm sure by now you folks are familiar with this property, so property that we're looking to discuss tonight is the remaining portion of what the land that went with the existing house at 15 West Main Street. There's been some A&Rs who were recently in here with a common driveway. So this was the remaining land that was shown on that A&R plan. Looking at different development options, we'd come in and met with Mike and Lauren to discuss. Came up with something that fits into the local zoning bylaw, senior housing, so 55 and over community. This land provides the density to support 16 units, which is what we're showing on the plan. These would be duplex units, same units that Eastland, who would build them, built in Millbury. Single floor living, so pretty conducive to 55 and over.
This is residence D.
This is, yep, residency. So based on the land area, approximately 13.5 acres, the density, as I said, would yield, they actually go by bedroom, so it would yield 34 bedrooms, 32 bedrooms, so 16 units. 2-bedroom units as required in the bylaw. The roadway would be 24-foot wide paved road, sidewalk on one side. The length of that is approximately 700 feet. That road would remain in an HOA, so not public or wouldn't be accepted by the town. Whole project would be in an HOA, so no maintenance, no liability from town resource perspective. The cul-de-sac would be 100-foot diameter, so that all meets NFPA requirements for access for fire vehicles. This site has town water available out in Mechanic Street. We'd be bringing a water line in to service the units through that. There is no public sewer available in this area of Mechanic Street. So it'd be on-site sewage disposal system, so.
Just one big one? What'd you do?
So the way we've kind of set it up, that would be 2 shared systems. So 4 of these buildings would be on a shared system here. The other 3 would be on a shared system next to it. So each of those systems would be less than 2,000 gallons per day. So conventional type. System.
Well, I don't want to take you too long here, but no roadway? So how can you guarantee safety and access, adequate access without putting in a roadway?
Well, this would be a roadway, but it would be private. There wouldn't be any
You
need.
still build them to the same standard.
Correct.
For delivery for everything else, so. Okay, it'd be the same depth, same grade. I mean, I understand everybody wants less than 26 feet wide.
Yep.
But you'd have to convince me that the roadways, your access is adequate and safe.
Okay. Yeah, we have spoken to the fire department about that. I don't think there's any issue with it, but obviously we'd have them weigh in before we put out something formal. So as part of the senior housing requirement, we're required to come in informally. So we're kind of checking that box. I'd like to get input from you folks tonight on what we're trying to do. So there is a requirement too for 100-foot perimeter buffer around the site, which we maintain in the majority of areas. The area that we don't maintain that fully would be with the roadway and driveway. So all of the buildings are not within that perimeter buffer. Doesn't say you can't work within the buffer. I think the point of the buffer is to provide screening and buffers from adjacent properties, which we think we can do that. If you look here, 100 feet from the neighbor here to the south. This one to the north, there's already 100 feet from that house to the property line. There's a big topographic change from where they are that goes up. So visually, you wouldn't be able to see it there. So I think the intent of that buffer is met, although we are doing some work. So leaving some screening in its natural state, but we would supplement with additional screening to satisfy that requirement, satisfy the buffer screen.
How far what is the distance between the roadway and the,
Yeah, so between the roadway and the property line is probably 20 feet. So in this area, we would have to cut into that slope and grade it. So off the roadway, that goes up significantly to a high point before it comes back down to where this lot would be. Like I said, if you're standing here, you'd be looking into the hill and then you would have the trees above that, so you wouldn't be able to visually see.
but you're asking for what, 60 feet relief from buffer?
Yeah, we're right up to the property line, so we would be that entire 100-foot on that side. And same thing goes for the front, which is inevitable because you need to access it, so you would have to disturb something in the front anyways.
Well, the pond that you're showing there is on, okay.
Yep, so that
A base
that would be a shallow stormwater.
Maybe 100 feet. of
It is.
roadway?
It is, yep. So what we would propose in that scenario is buffer screening along the entire frontage of that. Isn't necessarily shown on this plan, but assuming it would come in formally, that would be shown.
I do have some concerns about the buffer, because there are residences on the other side of the road. And that roadway is going right into people's houses, the proposed roadway, and I think it's important that a buffer be maintained.
Yes,
So that the folks that live on the Canyon,
Yep.
and this is gonna be high on the hill,
it is.
so all the lights and things like that will be,
Yep, and we did recognize that, so although it does appear that it's across from that house, and it pretty much is. If you're driving out, that kind of lines up with their driveway, so if people were coming out at night, they're not flashing headlights into their home. So
If
that
they drive
was,
Straight across into our driveway, they might not be.
So-
They're gonna go left or right, so most of the time it's gonna be shining right into our
yeah,
house.
but as they're sitting there stopped, and we're talking about low traffic generation for a community of this this use. The reason we did put this here, there's multiple reasons. One, it's on this curve. This provides the best sight distance as you're coming out. Not only that, it provides better sight distance if you're driving south on Mechanic Street, because this bank would have to come back, vegetation would come back. From my understanding, that's somewhat of a little bit dangerous curve and section of the road anyway, so I think it would alleviate that, but also the elevation is higher to be able to catch up to existing grade, significantly reducing the earthwork that would be needed if we were to come in low. You'd have to take that whole site down. There's a pretty drastic grade change from here to here in Mechanic Street. The last part of that is the basin. You need to put the basin at the lowest parts of the site. So this is the lowest part of the site while still maintaining that 100-foot natural buffer.
And you have the basin at the lowest part of the developed, the lowest developed part of the site.
Right.
And Meadow is, where is Meadow?
Up the street.
Up-
I know it's up here, yeah, so it's north and it
Okay.
comes in, and loops around the back. So a good portion of this, as you can see, we're leaving in its natural state. So we have the perimeter buffer, we also have open space requirements based on the bylaw. So we're meeting the open space requirement in addition.
Why the use of senior housing? We've got several senior housing projects already. Why that opposed to regular subdivision?
We came in and just, that was one of the things that came up when we were talking to Mike. Yeah, you could do a bunch of single families.
You think it's a nice, but you think that's a nice, those will sell, you think that those are,
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's the point of a 55 and older is obviously not to affect school children and things like that. That could be
Yeah.
obviously market rate. So we typically, the last two large developments we have done is duplex configuration without 55 and older. So it's an age restriction where if I was divorced, I didn't have kids, I would live in the condo. Condo restricts swing sets, toys out in the yard. They're pretty tough. So they, by design itself, in first floor living, we also do. We did have no stairs going upstairs. It eliminates, children. Not to say it's
we probably have enough $900,000 homes in the
Yeah.
town right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to this, but my question is what drove you to pick that as opposed to a 40B or something else?
We think this is appropriate for the community, and again, less of a burden for the community. I think senior age people or older than myself, no school age impacts to the local school systems is the right fit for this. Especially with the abutter for a cluster, obviously you didn't come in here trying to do a 40B and stick an apartment or triplexes.
Right.
We believe the offset of these are very, very generous between the duplexes, and it leaves it in the rural sense of the community. There's a good buffer between the units, of the all landscape nicely, be in the HOA, of course.
Mhm.
And we believe this is a good, option.
Sharon, can I ask a quick question?
Okay.
Yeah, what is the price point for these?
You're probably talking in the sevens, probably.
Because right now, I do believe we have Cobbler's Creek, which is different model, because it's not single family, it's not single family.
Yeah.
And it's about the same price, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and those aren't selling.
Yeah, I can't speak to
Yeah.
developers.
And I'm just wondering why
I saw some nines up there before, so,
it might be.
Yeah.
It might be cheap.
Yeah, I think those prices have gone
Is
up.
that,
Yeah.
okay.
And those are, those are single family units.
Yeah, and they're much bigger.
Mhm.
And they're not
Yeah,
single
these-
story, which I think there is a demand for in this town.
Yeah, these are completely single story. They range about 1,850 square feet. Typically, there's two bedrooms, but typically it's one of the bedrooms ends up being like the hobby room or, you know, Mrs. Wrap room. And these are really nice because we actually did an additional kind of sunroom off the back of the living space. So it's actually, you have a grand living room, it's all open space living, and then there's actually a small, like, almost like a greenhouse out in the back, which was very.
And that land is flat for the most part, and when you get up to the those are, that's mostly, it's not too much of a grade once you get up to the top.
Yeah, no, it's not much of a grade change at all.
So what about your recreation? Are you gonna be able to put, a spot for recreation?
Yeah, so that's one of the topics we were gonna discuss with the board. We don't envision, you know, a project of this density doesn't justify a clubhouse or anything like that, so.
Pickleball, put.
that-
Pickleball.
Yeah, which the neighbors would love.
I love that note in the sound.
The last one we came, we approved pickleball, and then we had to remove it from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know.
We thought some type of recreation facility. It's funny, we've done some big developments in like Milford, and we found that actually a community garden was a very popular option. So I did planting beds with irrigation and things out there, and it was very popular. You know, some people planted annuals, and then people were planting this or that and the other thing. Some type of seating, there's not a lot. Again, it doesn't support any type of structure, but perhaps a community garden or you know, gazebo or some type of, you know.
Where's the beaver dam with the pond that's?
That's way down here.
Which one?
Yeah. We see that's getting larger and larger over there.
Oh,
More
no, there's more and more.
more twigs and stuff in there, yeah.
There's something like this stick on my mailbox. It's against my,
Wind.
this place.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have another question. I have a couple of questions, but one of them is, and I may be wrong here, but I believe that the house that you're talking about, the buffer on, I do believe they're building something on that. It's either a very big addition or an
They are.
ADU, but there's a huge construction project going on there.
Which house are you?
The house you wanna,
Oh, that's-
no,
No, this is
Yeah,
there.
yeah. and I think that they built in that area, and towards the back, so I just wanna, raise that.
It's going straight out the back.
Is it straight out in the back?
I think it's going,
Yeah.
I think it's going south.
Like
I'm not
the
sure.
garage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do have, some concerns, again, about the location of the driveway, because I do think that that's going to impact, the people that live across there. I mean, the Dodds are here and they're the ones that have the house that's, your driveway's gonna be facing.
I mean, it's already a challenge just getting out, and now we have to try to, from 3 different directions, to make sure we're not gonna run into somebody. And then the headlights, I know it's gonna be an issue. It just constantly seeing the headlights. Like, already, like, annoyed with all the light pollution on street lights that they put in. So that's, to me, it's a bad idea. But for another reason too, is that slope isn't gonna be easy to grade. And you're gonna have to remove a huge amount of material to get that road graded. You work from home. And we've heard all of the noises that were made from the house way down on Mechanical Street. It sounded like over 3 weeks to dig the foundation hole for that house way down on Mechanical Street, because there's so much, it's not even like cobble, it's huge, it's big, like massive boulders that are in it.
Luckily not in this part, because this is all sand and gravels being right up against the stream, and preliminary soil testing shows all sand. So,
There are some big boulders.
There's big boulders on that property. There's big boulders on our property, and I'm sure you're gonna be running into that, and you might even have to blast part of it to get it to what you want. And it's like, to me, it seems like the most difficult place to put your. And it's right across from our driveway. And so I'm like really annoyed with it. And I wish you could have put it down like in between where our property boundary is with the neighbor to the south. And that way, you know, neither house would be annoyed by the lights. It would be, I think, less, you know, if less grading you'd have to do for that road.
It'd actually be the opposite, because you're coming in lower on Mechanic Street. Now you can't catch up to the grade as quick. So the blasting that you just talked about, if I came in lower, I can only get up so high, keeping that road grade. That means everything needs to be cut. Coming up here allows us to be up with natural grade. The road slope is problematic here too. This is steep, as you know, coming through here. We tried to put this intersection up at a flatter point in that road, so that the intersection isn't on a road like this.
Well, it flattens down here, like our property line. And that to me would be the natural place to put it. And then, I don't know why you wouldn't do it there.
There's a road, there was
It's a
a,
huge,
when you guys were doing the test there, you did 2 roads to get access, correct, out the Mechanic?
Yeah, they did.
And are you talking about, is she talking about the lower one? Because it's,
there's like a cut through the
The
woods
cut through the woods.
already.
Yeah.
And, so now you'd have to cut the other end of the woods near our house. But I don't know, and in the slope is like, it's a big slope, like it's a mound, like it goes way up from, I don't know, it's just gonna be a nightmare to us, a nightmare. And not just an ending nightmare once we put the place in, you know, it's gonna be an ongoing nightmare to us. And I really wish you could rethink it.
just 2 other quick questions. As far as lighting goes, for the development itself, is it just gonna be that lighting from the houses? Or are you gonna have street lights out there? Are you gonna have any, like, light on top of that hill that's going, or is it just the
No,
light from the house?
it would be just probably light from the buildings and maybe
Okay.
a light up near the top where you would have like a mail kiosk where people pick their mail up, and maybe that rec field or gardens like Chad had mentioned, something like that, but nothing along here to increase the lighting.
Yeah, unless street lights are under the, the certain section of the bylaws or conform to that, we're happy to eliminate street lights.
And as far as soil testing goes, does soil testing support the septic systems you're talking about? Also, since this is high on a hill, what does that do with runoff going down? You know,
Yeah, so the soil testing that has been done, based on those results, we can fit these systems, that supports these systems.
And so there are 4 houses for each, or?
So there's 4 houses for this larger one, and then 3 buildings, 6 units for the smaller one. So we would still need to do official testing with board.
So you have 8
houses.
units, don't you?
it's 16 units.
16
You don't
buildings.
have, you have 8 buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 4 and 3 adds up to 7.
Yeah, the same.
So you're.
You missed it.
4 and, yeah, okay, 4 and 4. But
You know, when he first talked, I
Last time
figured
I
that I, you know, I did good math anyway, so.
we gotta get the-
What are any other questions? Because it's quite the section. I'm looking at the process now, that you will have, you're familiar with it, right?
Yes.
Special permit, 4 votes is voted 3 on a subdivision. This is the first part of it, the second, I don't think it's preliminary, right? You can come right in with the.
Correct. Yeah, just a few questions or comments, I guess. Just to reiterate my wife's comment about headlights, I mean, that's really big, I think, just how that's gonna, affect our house. The 100-foot setback along Mechanic Street, is that going to have any plantings at all along that? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want to have to see this basin. Number 1. Number 2, if we cannot see the houses from Mechanic Street, that would be great.
yeah, I mean, I talked to Chad about putting screening along that.
And then I would ask for native plants.
Yeah.
I think that's required.
Okay.
I think that's required.
Along the driveway, you know, if there is any external lights, I'd like to see it as being dark sky compliant. I mean, we were just out a couple nights ago looking at the Orion constellation and also looking at Jupiter. So we're out, you know, looking at the sky at night, and we just don't want to see lights. We've got enough lights already. Is this gonna go through the Conservation Commission? It will, okay. And are there any trees going to be left between like that front basin and the houses? Is that, or is that all gonna be stripped?
Now it'll have to be stripped and just regraded and then landscaped after.
You mean along the whole frontage area?
No.
Not along the whole front, between.
Everything that was in green on the front page.
Yeah, so this 100 foot here at the southern end, that's all gonna remain in its natural state.
Yeah, so
From this point up.
perhaps as you were thinking about this, you might think about what you're gonna plant that with, you don't. Doesn't need to be a lawn, it could be a meadow. You could think of being a little more.
Yeah, we haven't got that far with the landscaping plan, but we have concerns always with buffers and things, and there's a variety of methods you can do. You can do berms in the front towards the town right away. So there's some creative things you can do landscaping wise to do buffers.
Yeah, I'm talking about between the basin and the buildings.
Oh, in this area here.
Yeah, that you just said that all gonna be.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
There's-
the
could be
the
some
landscaping
plantings,
plan,
like-
yeah, I don't like it looking like Mars, so I like to do generous landscaping.
Can you go back to the frontage on the map? I'm remembering this in front of you. So basically that whole stretch along Mechanic is gonna be stripped from where the retention basin is past the driveway.
Yep.
It's gonna be replanted,
Yes.
which will probably take 20, 30, 40 years to go back. So the people that are living there are gonna be looking straight into development for that duration.
So I guess
Depending on what they have to plant.
my question is, and I haven't, I know had the regs out, but I think we would want to look at how the regs are worded about that setback and whether that includes a setback from the road.
One of the things we can't do is, we can't put 100-foot buffer around the whole thing. That's called a moat. We do have to restrict it where the access is, because
But they're not,
They're doing way
that's
beyond that.
much beyond the access that they're talking about.
I agree.
And does it allow the basin? Is that?
That's, like I said, I would have to look at how it's worded, because I don't think you can.
Well,
It's, if I may, through the chair, and
Please.
you can chew on this, you don't have to.
Yeah,
This is
no,
just the
yeah,
pre-application.
Yeah,
I'll just read it because it's a very short sentence. Site dimensional requirements, number 2, a 100-foot screened buffer zone consisting of landscaped or natural vegetation shall encompass the entire perimeter of the development site. So as you saw from Lauren had highlighted the 100-foot buffer earlier, I mean, how does that square with accessing the site, right? You need
You need to access, yes,
Right.
but
but that's different
access
than that
is.
whole area.
Sure.
That's-
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead. And access has its own challenges with the lights and with the grades, the 3% leveling area, the first 75 feet, and things like that. So it has its own.
I mean, what I would request, is seeing this as a pre-application, and is that, you heard from the people, I think, that are most impacted by it. And if you could weigh what they said and see if
Yeah,
it's, I
absolutely.
mean, you guys were really good at it last time when we were talking about the farmhouse. and, You know,
Try to work with everybody.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't want to come in an apartment building with a bunch of traffic and stuff it down anybody's.
No, we're not
Trying
trying
to
to,
fit in with it.
yeah, we're not trying to stuff anything in.
No, you've been good to work with, and so that's why it's sort of like, if you could, before you come in, if you could
Yeah.
just sort of weigh, if there's a way to keep that even directed a little more, because there's still that gap between the Dodds house and the next people up.
Mhm.
And, and there's that, if you're looking for relief from that buffer anyway, maybe even pushing the road up a little bit more. I don't know if that works, because I haven't I don't know. the person. I mean, I do. think
Consider.
I don't-
And through the chair, when considering that buffer, the very next section, I won't read it, but tells you that you have the ability to waive it if what is provided is enough or,
Yeah.
what you consider to be enough, right? So your regulations, for this board through your bylaw rarely give you that opportunity to waive those things in the context of a special permit. So you do have the ability to evaluate it, decide if you like it, waive it or not.
If not, save you later, so that gives us.
Just a couple quick questions. So it's a light green area, is that pretty much going to be all, stripped trees?
Yeah, that would be disturbed.
And what do you think would be the development time?
16 units.
16 units, I do probably 40 a year, so I'm gonna do them all, so you're probably talking a year. Realistically, I move pretty fast.
Thank you.
Question on, the senior, the senior plan or whatever, for 155. I know, like, who enforces it? Cause like, I know in Hopkinton, they had that Legacy Farms where it was supposed to be 155. And this is just kind of, I know Hopkinton's a different town. But then they came in with 300 kids in school. So how do you keep it from being sold to, people with kids?
Is there deed restrictions?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, through the deeds. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what Legacy Farms sold them over there. I have no idea.
So how does that get?
Maybe they had a rezoned or something. That had from that.
Written into the master deed, the condo deed for the HOA and carries through no matter who buys it.
So
It's gonna match what the planning board here approved.
somebody buys it, though, how do they, who enforces that?
The deed itself. So if you bought one from me, your deed would say 55 and older and say it can only be sold to a 55 and older, so you have to find a 55.
For example, the roadway, wouldn't, if somebody's parked on your roadway?
Yeah.
You would go to your homeowners association, they own the roadway, whoever. Probably have a.
But it's not the HOA that's enforcing it. It's kind of state law or whatever that basically says this fee is.
Well, it's a private
55
road.
or over.
It's a private road, no, it's a private road, they would have.
HOA maintains it, but I think what you're saying is who carries through making sure 50.
Yeah.
Through the chair, I can sort of answer, or maybe no. I mean, it would be an absolute mess if that were to happen. The best controlling is what was just mentioned, is it goes into the deed and the board usually requires that the HOA documents be submitted to the planning boards. We have that on file. The building commissioner has that on file for reference. So if for some reason, all of a sudden, kids were standing out waiting for the bus in front of that development,
There's a lot of Legacy Farms.
my office would take action. We issue notices of violation to the entire development. That wouldn't immediately remove the children from the town or from the homes, but they would be subject to penalties and things like that. It'd be a lawsuit between the development and.
I am concerned about some things, not concerned about that, because your city is readily,
Yes.
so it's not gonna be a place where you're gonna have a big family. And the second thing is, I mean, it's a small, relatively small, it's not like it's a place, it's 50 places, and people do the way to senior over 55 developers don't want, they will be there, they don't want, tons of kids on them, so
Yeah.
I think you'll finish these things. So, here again, I would like, my preference is to try to address the concern about the driveway, make sure runoff, make sure buffers and stuff like that, but I'm not concerned about it.
We want that one concept, and the concept was having light fluence that house.
And road split. The little decorative island in this, so that when the cars came out, they were angled.
Potentially, I'd have to look at the grades a little closer, like I said, try to put it up at the flag area. You want you to come past this point down
Yeah.
here, it's like 8%, so it's tough to get at road intersection at 8%.
At least you're heading that way.
Put your head in that way. But if you were going to turn left, then it's. Funny,
Well, the other side.
What you're saying, have two means of that egress?
You put a center island and just split it at the end and
Yeah, instead of having that go straight out, make a V at the end of it. With-
Then the end of it is gonna be basically 4 lanes, the end is gonna end up being huge.
No,
I mean, it'd be bigger, but it would solve the template.
it would be one lane.
Well, then we come back to the person that's going this way and wants to turn.
We'll consider.
I see.
Comments.
I'm gonna give you a part of what you said. I just know like when I'm kind of like at the end of the street, like, and I'm trying to pull into my driveway, I have trouble seeing, like, have to make sure no one's coming from the. So I think like everybody's gonna have that same problem. And then back, we don't really have way to turn in right away, so backing out for us will be hard, because it's like, you get speeding cars from up the street, down the street. And then also people pulling out from there. And so, I don't know, maybe it's gonna be pretty complicated. But it is.
If I may, one thing I'm thinking about this, you're gonna have potentially, what, 15 units?
60.
How many?
60.
32 seniors coming out walking, they do walk. They're gonna come up, they're gonna probably walk to Camp Street.
Hmm.
So that particular entrance probably have to be both caught, careful with the neighbors' lights, in some way to keep them safely to the left. Walking, so we'll talk about that, but think about that, think about how
Absolutely.
you gotta be coming down, watching the left or right, walking around. That's what you can say. They drive pretty fast on that.
There's gonna be a stop sign if you need to back up.
So is there another way out? It's just, like we can't punch through and get to,
The one
Full
footer,
wrap,
so
yeah.
No, it's all giant wetland and then.
All open space, and you need, the bylaw wants all open space around it, so.
And just a comment, I guess, on so the town has a lot of open space on, well, that's off of,
Yeah,
That's all fine.
This is town.
sorry, because that's Merriam Manor, right?
So it doesn't, doesn't
But-
link up.
What's the name of that little, is it Pixie?
Pixie's Park.
Is that on the north end of this?
Yes.
His end is west.
So is there, yeah, I mean, is there possible for a trail connection?
Could be, I mean, this is owned land that abuts this northwestern portion of the site. I don't know what that parcel's used for. There is this.
Town for conservation,
Okay.
I mean,
But I mean, that might be a way for the residents to.
area, yeah.
And go on to the same.
You wanna make a comment on what's, having access through this to that? I mean, that's something you do look at? Worthwhile?
Access from here to what, town land?
Bill, what are you talking about?
Yeah, so you might be able to build the trail that comes through.
Yeah, nature trail would be fine.
Allows people to walk out the meadow, which of course would be much nicer.
Yeah, coming out.
We're not.
Keep them off the road.
So that one now, we're not opposed to
You know,
it.
I just don't have to investigate what kind of restrictions exist on this land, but I think a trail would be fine.
Absolutely.
But that would be nice if they had access to some open space, that would be really nice.
Recreation, yeah,
It's a good
absolutely.
selling feature.
It is kind of interesting, there's an old, just going in here, but there's a, I think what was there, some sort of sluice way or ditch and
That's the green. Dark green, I think. right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's probably this, because there's a
Oh,
stream
yeah, yeah,
that comes in through here, discharges to that.
It's a good idea, so
Would that be their open space?
but yeah,
So then you don't have to worry about the gazebo.
yeah, there still should be something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Whatever makes sense, makes sense to me, so, yeah.
Is
The
this a
crosshatch.
space plan too, or is it just?
No, they're usually over the senior housing.
Senior housing, but there's a large component of open space. Based on the bylaw, the only open space that's credited would be this area and this area. However, the whole perimeter is really
Yeah.
open space.
Yeah, the buffer doesn't count as open space.
Exactly, but in reality, it's.
It does.
Yeah, with that trail, maybe, if we filed with conservation, we'd take care of that all probably at once, so. Trail and the crossing, or we probably need to cross that sluice somehow, so we can deal with that.
Right, so footbridge or something like that.
any other questions before we Move on.
I have one, sorry. Do you ever consider like when, like birds, or when you start cutting trees down? Like, do you, or you just cut them? And if there's like nesting owls or.
Yeah, typically you have to go through, the process, NIPD's process to get a general permit on a project like this, and unless it's specified in an area where there's birds that they look for, no.
Is this in the ACEC? It's not, that's on the ACEC.
But looking at where your process, it would probably be fall.
It's
I
not.
would guess.
Because my question is going to be access utilities, you're putting in septic system, you have town water.
Town water.
Town water.
So you're gonna, so that's, those type things, anybody else want to? No, I didn't get, answered your questions or helped you on your way.
I
No,
think so.
no, we appreciate it.
I found one typo. Thanks.
Yeah.
On C 1.3.
Pavement width?
On C 1.3, it talks about the number of units. And I think it's like 4 units per building.
Great.
Yes.
Well, bedrooms, maybe, mostly bedrooms.
Yeah, you have the list of what's required and what you're doing. There's the way down the right list, I think.
Yeah, if you're gonna wanna take a look at the ACEC map, I think it does.
It's in a zone too, so maybe talking. things here.
There is that region of town. The ACEC is up there and I don't, looks like it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it does, it says 4 units per building.
yeah, it should be 2 units.
And the, you said what the square footage was, was it per building or for each unit?
Each unit would be approximately 1,850 square.
Good size.
It's huge.
Comparison to our house.
It's bigger than my house.
All right, well, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you.
All right,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
I'll take a peek at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Talk to you.
Thank you.
Upton Bridge is done and we have released any funds.
Yeah, Lauren, can you, comment on to the amounts and where it's coming from?
to be absolute.
It's a little over 10,000, that was still left in escrow funds from the Upton Ridge development. I think, Lauren, it was all, like leftover peer review funds, like, I don't think it's tied to funds or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, if they're finishing the project and the planning one's holding it, those are, it doesn't matter if we did it for this or that, it's the money to finish the project.
Yeah, the project's done, it's been done for a while, so.
Just, so we okay with releasing the funds for? whatever that is?
Yeah, escrow fund, yeah, it's gonna be counted.
$12,000.
Lauren,
Yeah, so the total is $10,120.58 in, it's titled under escrow funds. I don't think the account name is actually in this screenshot. And then there were,
Called me and said that you had a payment of $12,000, which you happened to be close to their annual payment for the pump station.
There was a deposit for $12,780 that we had no record of on our side.
That sounds like the payment for the pump station.
yeah, this is the 10,000 and change, is separate from that 12.
Oh, okay, I thought.
Yeah, we would have put that in.
Called to find out whether or not that needed to be refunded as well.
Yeah, because I believe there was like a total of like 24,000 or something that's noted in there, but we're not suggesting that the 24,000 or whatever it was, 22,000 be returned, because that includes,
This would be engineering.
yeah,
Okay.
we will make extra sure we are not giving back money that is rightfully the town's when we sign any checks.
You want to bring that to next meeting, bring a voucher to next meeting, or if you want to authorize me to sign, I can sign it. They can come down and get it raised.
But this is in the escrow funds account, which would be used for your peer review.
So I move we authorize Tom to sign a voucher to refund $10,000 at the escrow account for peer review.
Is there a second? Second. Discussion. All in favor? Yeah, all right, next is master plan update review. We have a transportation element that we sent out. Working on the, what's the next one we're gonna work on? The housing, right?
Housing.
It's also been sent.
And, everybody get a chance to take a look at that? Or take a look at it. In the next meeting, we can, make the changes and vote to recommend that be added in. Not sure what the process is gonna be, but we're at a time.
Yeah, before you officially adopt anything, you would, I think, need to hold a public hearing as the board on these things. But you can, work through them in the meantime. You can vote on stuff to, vote things into a draft.
I think we had an informational hearing before we had a public hearing. We did, we just had an informational hearing. Got the questions before we put it into the.
Oh, yeah. But ideally you would, it's great you're doing this work ahead of time. And then if you're ready to formally adopt these changes to the master plan, you would have to, whether it's a two-step process, an informal, then a public hearing, you would still have to do that, right?
And the town has to approve it.
No, I don't believe the town meeting needs to approve this. I'll double check on that, but I was.
The master, the adoption of the master,
What's that?
the adoption of the master.
Yeah, adoption of master plan. Unless there is other rules I'm familiar with, I don't believe it needs to go to town meeting, because it is a planning board document, I believe by statute, but I will very much double check on that. Obviously, we're not moving on.
Can't remember last 2005.
Yeah. I remember because there was a conversation I was a part of amongst the planners group, whereas people were debating the value of that, of is it worth bringing to town meeting when people have had the opportunity through public hearing process to comment on it through the planning board process, only to then be rejected and denied through town meeting.
And it's not a law, it's not a bylaw, it's not a zoning change.
Yeah.
We're not asking for any money, there's no funding. All right, next is zoning bylaw and subdivision rules committee.
I had commented on this in my planner's report, just have you had a committee like that before, and do you recall what you did, if you did? I would suggest that we form an adjunct committee for the bylaw update that, somebody or two from this board, definitely represented from the zoning board, then possibly Concom, and Affordable Housing Trust, CPC, maybe CPC, maybe
You
not.
can sign Erica.
We can sign Eric up, for sure.
Sorry to volunteer you, but you're on the line.
That's what happens when you're remote,
Oh, and the building commissioner, everyone who works in close contact with these bylaws.
All right, I'll sit on the first one. I don't, because I remember the last time we did that, we separated them and subdivision rules were a separate entity. Than the zoning bylaws. We didn't touch the zoning bylaws.
Oh, well, should we have two separate committees then? Maybe a zoning bylaw committee and then a subdivision rules. Maybe this, it's a planning board document. Maybe the planning board should be set aside time to work on.
For the subdivision, yeah.
Excellent. 27 budget, we're all set with the budget.
Yeah, so I'll get that into you for another look at it. I don't think it's due until February, so it's later this time around. But
And we're gonna be working on the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a good,
hopefully I'll have some.
that's just a site plan, right? It's not a special.
Yes, the site plan because it's the addition of 10 or more.
How many utility units? So parking spaces?
I think it was something like 17. I'm not looking at it,
So
but I think
it's not gonna trigger a bus, handicap, just trigger the one space. Up to the 24 is the one handicap.
Oh, yeah, it might require an ADA space, so if it does, it'll be provided for sure. I don't have a timeline on getting that to you
Where would you
yet.
put that? Where would you, because
I know, that's
that's usually next, like, there's a certain distance from the front of the building. How do you do that in a municipal parking?
and being a good distance from anything, right? So it's not, it's just an auxiliary.
Would you
parking
add
lot.
more to that upper lot instead? Consider it the same parking area?
Would just be for the dirt plot that we're considering now to make the improvements still.
But I mean, if you just named some of more spots in the small
Or
lot
just dedicated them.
to be ADA, and then the lower lot is a low section of the same lot.
Yeah, maybe it might require, depending on how those rules are written, it might require a trip to the architectural access board to get some sort of waiver, in order to, not provide what are maybe considered to be useless, ADA spots that are in the middle of nowhere, I'm just saying. To get them closer to the access of the building, maybe they need to approve that, I'm not sure.
How many spots is that? That lot gonna be?
17?
I thought 17, but I'm not looking at it currently, let me pull it.
I was thinking about the transportation master plan and how great it would be if the MWRTA bus that goes as far as the Hacker, the Price Chopper came to Upton Center and there was some parking.
Since we've had to zone land for that particular, right? And the MBTA thing was, you should do that because you're so close. Yeah, we're close, why don't you?
But I thought they dedicated that bus to
17 was right on it.
transportation.
Yeah,
I thought
I
we
know.
talked about it,
So,
but-
so they've dedicated that bus to, but if we're making a master plan, we're not
Okay.
necessarily talking about what's already been done, but gee, maybe as we think about, trying to reduce traffic in the future, either a shuttle from the center to the train station or a shuttle from the center.
Do they have anything that, are we just too small of a town that they won't do that?
You are currently too small. You don't have the ridership demand to have a dedicated service, such as a shuttle like that yet.
And,
Keep developing like we are and.
Yeah.
What,
but also, it's one of those things that, okay, if I have to drive to that Southborough train station to get the train, never mind, I'm just gonna drive to Boston.
Yeah.
But if I only had to drive to Upton Center to get the shuttle to the train,
Yeah.
maybe I would do something different.
and then we could have a coffee shop downtown, yeah, we. And that, and it hasn't gone anywhere.
Is it fair just to do the town's population as the key, because so many people come through Upton to get to there? Wouldn't it be nice if they
Yeah,
live in
Northbridge.
something to only drive to Upton and then instead of Southborough, or drive all the way in? So we could even look at if they would entertain any kind of
You're saying they won't entertain it because of the population, that's the only criterion they use.
I mean,
Population.
But even if we.
They would
in
entertain it if the
Oxford,
town paid them to provide the service, right? That, I mean, I think that is how it works. We are, myself and Tanya, at the community senior center, are talking to
RTA.
MWRTA, about it becoming a part of that transit community, becoming an MWRTA community.
That'd be out of Worcester.
No, that's out of
That's
Frankfurt.
out of
You are-
Framingham.
Yeah.
Metro West, yeah. Milford's a part of it. Have we,
Yeah.
when's the
And
last time we had
Hopkinton, their buses go as far as the Price Chopper in Hopkinton
Yeah.
now.
Right. When was the last time we had talks with WRTA about them providing a bus service?
Very recently, within the last year.
Okay.
So that would preclude being part of the MTA, the
MBTA?
MBTA?
Yeah, we'd essentially,
Divorce
trade-
them?
Yep,
Okay.
very amicably.
And I, in some ways, this might be as part of developing the transportation master plan, maybe you need to do a transportation survey of current Upton residents, what are you doing for transportation? What direction are you going in? And would you use, what kind of services would you prefer?
Mhm.
Does everybody really want to sit in their car?
That's a great idea.
Is there any chance
Sure.
for collaboration?
Lauren, you looked right at you when he said that's a
Survey.
great idea.
Is there a chance to collaborate with Mendon? I know they're not served by WRTA or any of these communities or bus services. Maybe put our heads together with the town of Mendon, figure out a bus service that would benefit both towns. I know we have the school district, so.
Awesome. Can we help you with anything or?
Yes, sure. I know we don't have a lot of time. My name is Rosanna Clancy and I live on Plumley Road. We've been there about 15 years. And I'm the person that has a 40-panel solar array directly in front of her home.
Okay.
So I've talked to the town clerk who said that there isn't anything that can be done. So my husband and I are looking at legal action. We're looking at trying to get a landscaper to try to help us to, of course, try to avoid what we're seeing. It's a 40-panel array and it's set back about, 20, 30 feet.
Where is this?
So I'm on Plumley Road.
I think the folks came, they're very active on Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I put that out there so that people knew because I didn't know that this was a ground-mounted solar array, just requires a permit. The system doesn't provide an alert of any sort as a homeowner. The town isn't required to tell me. And so essentially this project went on, we thought they were just removing trees. We had no idea this was going on.
It's a ground mounted array, which just requires a building permit.
And it's on Plumley.
It's on Plumley,
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, and I didn't even know anything about Permit Pro. I had no idea. But our neighbor didn't mention anything about this to us. It wasn't until, we started realizing, gee, are they expanding the driveway? I work hybrid, so I work from home. And then, of course, I'm on site for a full week. And so huge excavation to, of course, bring in wires. This is a huge project. So to make
Was a building permit?
all, yes.
Our zoning allows it.
Yes.
Right.
Ground mounted.
Ground
Permitted
mounted.
use at the state level, right?
Pardon me?
I think it may be a permitted use at the state level.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah, it is.
ground, really? No matter what the size is?
No, I mean, there are differences in use
Yeah.
and,
What does the building inspector go by to okay it or deny it? What would he go by?
your zoning bylaws as well as, state law.
Which says it's okay?
Yeah, ground mounted. It doesn't get size, dimensions.
No setbacks?
Approximately 20 to 30 feet, but trust me, this is a solar monster. The setback does not help whatsoever. As soon as you pull into, I hate doing it, but as soon as I pull up to my front house and I look to the right, it is encroaching. It is massive. And so there's no way to avoid this. There is no,
One second.
sure.
Is there any way that our zoning bylaws or the building inspector can prevent this?
Your zoning bylaws, if you were to change
We
them,
haven't changed
you
it.
can prevent them in the future.
Why can't the building inspector have the leeway or the authority to not?
Because it's in our zoning bylaw,
We
you
have
can do it.
bylaws.
Yeah, I mean, the building commissioner could certainly take a position on it and deny a building permit, but then you'd be in legal jeopardy otherwise.
The Dover Amendment, et cetera.
Do you have a
Roughly,
picture of it by any chance?
Okay, sorry.
You do. I just got a new phone, so I can try to show you.
No, I thought
pictures.
is it okay if she takes a minute to show? Because I've heard a lot about it. I keep meaning to drive up.
Yes,
And
and, yes, I just got this new phone yesterday. So I'm trying to get, all my photos and things and videos and it, but I had them all Yeah,
What would
but-
the zoning change be?
You have to create new rules around residential use for ground mounted.
We
I mean,
might have to
usually-
limit the size of the,
Mhm.
limit the size of the, and there probably is some limit.
So you have to create the limit.
Yeah, traditionally, they've been small. There's a bunch in Upton,
Yeah,
but they're small. And it's,
And you probably have bigger arrays too, but they're probably sited in people's backyards.
yeah.
Yeah, right, and so, this has been deeply distressing. Mike, you can attest to this, I basically called crying once I realized that they were there. And so, realtors, like my realtor from 20 years ago, she was like, out of Hopkinton, had no idea, she's like, I can't cite one example. And I think that's part of the problem here, is that no one else is in my situation.
Now, this is a homeowner, this is just a homeowner's individual.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been there since the 90s,
It's
and
for-
it's 2
it's for
acres.
his own house,
It's for his own home,
Mhm.
and so,
and it's huge.
it is a McMansion type of home, but yeah, I think it's massive for what they truly need. And especially seeing that the first time I called the town to ask, was there a permit in place? And they said no. And it turns out that there was a permit in place, but there was confusion for the person who took the phone call, was because initially the plan was to have the solar array directly in front of my home. So this maximizes from their standpoint, this is the maximum efficiency from
Okay.
facing south. It is forward, obviously, to the street. It's going to give them, their shed is not disturbed. They have their full backyard, because this is their side yard, which is in front of my house. Our homes are not aligned. His home is to the left of mine. And so this is
are you
directly
across the street or?
I'm directly across the street.
From
So
your
when I open my front door, I see a solar array.
Set on Set Street, you're not looking in the house, you're looking at trees.
When you look at their house, when he opens his front door, he sees a beautiful rock wall and trees. Okay, so the solar array is to the left of his home, which is his garage. There's 2 windows up top. He barely is gonna recognize as a solar array. For me, my sight line from every single window in the front of my home is the solar array. So I cannot avoid this. That's why I have to get an attorney. I have to try to figure out, how do I hide this? Because I'm looking at approximately 10% loss if I try to sell. We never thought we'd want to sell, but at this point, it's embarrassing. And the owners do not care. They told me they have a permit, the town gave them a permit, so they're good to go, and they don't care. There's no year-round screening. It's completely exposed. It only has small rocks around it. So I'm stuck with this. I've tried a lot of different measures because I'm worried about, well, what about cancer? What is this thing kicking off? I don't know. I know the Board of Health has said, oh, no, it's minimal. Well, we truly don't know that. We truly don't. So there's that measure. Also the fact being that, again, I can't avoid this at all. I'm forced to. So now it comes to the fact of going forward, what are we doing for other residents? Because I happen to be unlucky and have a neighbor that is willing to invest on average $60,000 to put this in. It's a lifetime source of solar power.
It's probably twice that.
Right, plus all the trees, all the excavation that they had to do. Probably
Solar's come down.
ground mounted.
Yeah.
That Rochester went in, it's 110, pretty much the same size.
Hmm.
But that was a year and a half ago.
But they will in time make this up. Right? That's the whole point.
If it even works in November, December, and January.
It works better in November, December, and January is when.
Because it still gets the sun.
Still gets the
Yeah.
sun,
But
and
it's
it's cold.
stronger in the winter.
Cold air is actually, when it's cold, it actually produces.
Oh, is that right?
I mean, just following the, conversations that have been on social media, it is a quality of life issue, for folks, because it's not just her, it's the people who live on Plum Lair. Really, and it is a lot. So the recourse is, there's really nothing that can be done under the existing, bylaws. And I think the issue that's come up, and it doesn't do any good. I mean, is, changing the bylaws. So that there's there are buffers, there are, if you're putting in something of a certain magnitude, that is going to impact people's quality of life, then there should be a process beyond just going to the building.
Just like the requirements we're putting on.
Yeah, like kid buffers, I
We
mean,
need something to
talking
block
about
drainage.
buffers, we're talking
which is
about,
not
yeah.
so bad to look
Yeah.
at, but we still don't want to see
It's
it.
better than solar, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But so there's no requirement currently
Right.
in the bylaw to screen this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the setback, like I said, is not,
All we have to do is make sure what happened to you doesn't happen again. Simple. I think that's gonna be a site plan process, or if anybody wants to do this, they have to come to the.
But we
board.
gotta change
So we've
some.
got, so we're gonna
Put
look
that
at.
in. Is that something we can work on?
I mean, we'll still have time to get it on the warrant,
Absolutely, yeah.
but that
And
doesn't help you and I.
That people will have a chance in a public hearing format to make sure that we don't allow anything that devalues the neighborhood. We don't do that. It's not our job to lower the tax. Then we're supposed to raise it up and not affect your property values.
I've worked in towns where there has been like a limited site plan review process, for specifically ground mounted solar, et cetera.
Yeah, I'd love to have one of those, look at it anyway, and we could put it in.
When is the warrant?
Warrant open town closes on February 6th.
February 6th, so we have,
Closes on February 6th?
Yeah.
It's already open?
so we have to move quick on it.
And open in December,
Yeah.
Did we get an email on that?
probably.
So through the chair, I do have a question for you because I know you're here,
yes,
at, Port Bass Bay.
right.
I mean, I think I responded to one of your posts on Facebook about
Okay.
just basically that there's really nothing, but I assume that there's something beyond future generations that you would like to see happen. So,
I know that there have been situations of this, such as Beverly, where the neighbors were very upset. And they recognized that there wasn't anything they could do from a town perspective, but it was essentially grandfathered in, so that going forward, no other families are going to suffer this sort of distress.
so you're here for that.
So I'm essentially here, of course, yes, so that going forward, the bylaws certainly need to be tightened up because this is essentially the future. We're allowing people to put a lifetime source of solar in their yard, and from a monetary standpoint, they're gonna do it regardless. I mean, trust me, from my yard, I did nothing to deserve this.
Mhm.
My yard is always clean, it was maintained, new roof, new everything. There's no reason for this to happen to us. But we don't have a lot of people currently that are in our situation.
Mhm.
But however, going forward, it could certainly very well be, because the town laws, like I said, how high is this thing gonna be? It's probably over 15 feet currently, and the bylaws say, well, you can have it up to 50 feet. I mean,
Ground mounted up to 50 feet.
It's,
There's a high requirement for accessories.
yeah, accessory structures, the way that it's written,
Yeah, we need to tighten it up.
yeah.
Okay,
But still, there is space. So we have some control over, like the site, how it's cited,
Mhm.
not on the fact that they can do it.
Right, yes, correct.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, you can't do.
Prohibit it
Yeah,
completely.
you can't prohibit it. You can adopt rules, regulations, to
Reasonable.
control for reasonable rules and regulations, yeah.
Buffers and setbacks and buffers and buffers.
setbacks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Height requirements, et cetera.
And every time these things,
Center.
Because as it stands right now, the homeowners are not affected by this. Other than the initial investment that they made in this, I have a front row seat to this whole.
So where is,
This
so
is your house on them.
So I have a Moss, yes, that's my small colonial. So across the street, that was all woods right there, and they went in, they removed it all.
So where, I mean, this whole area has
that
been,
disturbed areas.
Yep. this is right here?
Correct.
Any wetlands there that, you know?
No,
No, I didn't get this.
Yeah,
no, there aren't any wetlands.
wow.
But
So you're right, it is a good distance away from their house.
right, so that's why they're not affected by this visually, at all. This is on the side of their home, that's their garage. So I'm bearing the brunt of their investment, essentially is what it's come down to.
So the only thing you have protecting you is the buffer in front of your own house. That's small standard trees.
Correct.
Someday grow
Those-
tall enough to shade it.
And she's on a hill.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the other thing.
so
I'm
she's
up
looking down.
higher.
Okay.
So that's why I say I have a front row seat. to this. Yeah, yeah, so, had they taken the time to put the array in their backyard or the other side of their yard, or to consider solar panels on their roof, I would have been happier than that, but that's not, from an efficiency standpoint, to maximize their investment, it went directly in front of my home.
Not that we can do anything about it, but in a case like this, do plantings impact? Because the solar panels go up, right? They don't go forward. So theoretically, they could plant.
Theoretically, you could probably put some plantings that didn't exceed a certain height
Right,
of shade.
but she's above it, so she's gonna,
Oh,
you're gonna.
Yeah, because you
So,
Yeah.
people, the elevated ones were for farms that could plant and do crops below.
so, can we put a placeholder or do we actually need the?
When does it close again, Bill?
February 6th.
Okay, you can put on the next agenda to get a placeholder on.
And it's gonna be something as simple as, will require a site plan review by this board. Doesn't, now it's not just a simple sign off, you have to come in here, there's a public hearing, you get to come in here and we get to,
Well, interestingly enough, our existing regulations is they apply a large scale ground mount.
Right.
Have,
for this, if you're gonna put it on your roof, on it, you don't.
No, but the large scale, if you're gonna,
they have buffers
Yeah.
built in so the people who live next door to it.
I didn't even know this was happening, I'm not on Facebook.
yeah.
So that's what I was afraid of, and I wasn't trying to be political on Upton Moms, but I thought that,
You know, it kicked you off if you were.
oh, they did. Oh, they did. They did.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because 2 years ago, I saw that there was essentially a meeting and said that the solar panels were defeated. And yeah,
That was.
That was.
It was, affirmative, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's,
a different thing to give, yeah.
so I wasn't trying to be political, but I just wanted other moms to know
Yeah.
that if you think you're protected, you're not.
Yeah.
Because I know I said this to Mike, I had a neighbor down the street who made a change to his home. I received a letter alerting me. And for this is actually affecting me. No letter, no transparency, no nothing. So, if you want to protect your credit card, your credit score, you want to protect your investments, you get alerts. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Well, to your credit, you have opened our eyes to it and we will, do something about it.
Thank you. Just let me know what you need me to do, because I don't know.
Well,
So
we
actually,
can
have
get it on, we can get it on the town warrant.
Can
Yes, please.
so it sounds to me like you've already investigated perhaps other communities that have established site plan review. So if you just send us,
And Mike, you said you had one that from where you've worked before, so.
because that's how most of
Can you-
these things get
Can
written.
you give Mike,
From another town.
can you give Mike and Lauren,
Copy paste.
what's anything you have that for us to prepare us for the, site plan process? Because if some town's already done it and it's effective, why would we reinvent the wheel, which is,
It sounds like she looked into an issue in Beverly, but it wasn't necessarily, you weren't necessarily looking into regulations and like bylaws.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, so for example, like certain towns I've heard like Paxton, where you can put up a ground mounted solar, but they have their own energy source essentially, so that you can't hook it up. So it stops you. So I don't know. As far as like the bylaws, I'm not an attorney. I don't pretend to be one.
That's fine.
Um,
We can easily,
yeah.
Lauren and I can easily
Yeah.
track down.
Yeah.
Then no worries.
And just as far as the process goes, I mean, if we put a placeholder on, the town meeting will be in spring, it's doing the date that it's in May,
May.
usually.
I'm not against solar, but I am against devaluing people's
Yeah.
property.
Nor mine. Nor, and again, I have neighbors with, the roof version, and it's been a non-issue for us, really. But
But
this
it's in a
is,
small,
this is an entirely,
array on Mendon Street. It's really small, and it's in someone's front yard.
yeah,
And
right
it
by the
doesn't
street,
bother- Yeah. and it
right
doesn't
down
bother
below, you
anybody.
really don't.
Yeah.
But
And there's one on South Street too.
The big,
South Street's pretty good size.
Well, what's funny is that I'm right off South Street. I've never seen it. I've tried looking. I don't know where it is.
Oh, it's, there's a red barn right up to the road. If you're
Yes.
heading south, across there's an old farmhouse.
Yeah.
It's in the side yard of
You
that
can
farm.
see, and I've even walked
Something
by.
in town
Haven't
park?
seen.
Is that the old Bopper House?
I don't know.
I think it is.
Huh?
They've got a pretty good sized ground mounted solar.
But anyway, it's getting people to town meeting to vote on it.
Yeah,
That's good, and it's a process because, you know, we have to vote on, then the selectmen have to vote to put it on the warrant, and then it's nothing simple, and it gets on the warrant, and then people have to vote for it.
Okay, does it say that there's a minimum of 10 signatures or?
No, it's a planning, it's a planning board.
yeah. So we will get this, that part isn't, the problem, it is a zoning bylaw change. So when it gets to town meeting, it has to pass town meeting by a 2/3 vote.
Okay,
That's
And
the
so
big difference.
you want to bring all of your friends.
okay.
Be loud, be proud, you just,
Yes.
Citizens petitions require you collect signatures.
Yeah.
But this will be through the planning board, so you don't have.
I see.
We'll do that
Okay,
one.
so that's the difference.
Yes.
Understood, yeah.
So for some reason, the selectmen, for example, decided they didn't want it on me. Or then we
Then you would have to.
petition, we put it on as,
Okay.
that's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. That's hypothetical.
Okay.
No, it's,
Hypothetical.
it's 10 when we did that.
It was, no, it's 10 for an annual town meeting and it's
Oh, it was
150.
For the specials, yeah, that's right, because we had to do it as a special.
So you're back on Mom's page, or are they still banned?
Oh, well, the post, she took the post
Oh,
down,
that's-
is what I meant.
I just find them political. I
I
found
don't
them,
think so either,
Yeah.
but I mean, I understand. It's really meant for, you know,
cute.
who's having a, yeah, the cutesy stuff. you know,
Lost
just-
puppies.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I understand that, so.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for hearing me out.
Thank you and good luck.
And thank you for putting so much time into this, because it doesn't benefit you. And I really respect the fact that you're following through on something that has no direct benefit on you.
Just, I just say to myself, oh my gosh, if we're gonna have, this is gonna be the future. This is what people are gonna be doing to other neighbors, and that's what it does. It hits neighbor against neighbor.
So when you put up your big windmills in your front lawn,
Yes, right.
We could start a war here. A renewables war.
Yes, I've heard of that. The turbine, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
And you said that in a public meeting, and we're still on.
is there anything else with, all right, meeting adjourned at 8:27. Thank you, Eric.